Back at the Valdir estate, Lionel asked the Empress if she's capable of removing towers below level 4 by herself. She answered that it's possible for her to remove a tower of level 5 and under, while Lionel continued asking if it's common practice in Gotrov to remove tower before it reached the ground. Adelaide explained that they found out about that method by chance around 5 years ago, but the problem with that method is that a magician who can ride on a rising air current like her is rare. Duke Valdir asked about her opinion regarding not removing towers that have reached the ground and if it's possible to manage them. She answered that managing towers is absolutely not good and they should never do such a thing. Lionel showed a map showing many towers that reached the ground that were dispersed in different regions of Egmont. This caused the Empress to be worried and asked the Duke if all those red rocks are towers. Duke Valdir confirmed it, telling her that those towers are currently being controlled in Egmont, while the Empress told them that it means Egmont is no different from hell. Lionel asked for her help since they are desperate of her help. Back at the palace, a maid notified Diana that the Emperor will visit her while she removed her earring to look pathetic in front of him. She showed her appearance and greeted him while the Emperor thinks that she has become more gaunt and she seriously looks like she's going to break soon. Like she's about to die. Just like that person, he closed his eyes thinking that he felt like he's suffocating. She stepped closer to him thinking that he must have found it outrageous that the Empress tried to chase her out of the Ivory Palace. How pitiful she looked in his eyes, being chased out by the Empress. Diana hugged the Emperor, telling him that she's fine and she's all right, but he didn't say anything about it. He started asking if she sent merchants to the Empress Palace. That caused her to be shocked and pale that he's asking about the Empress. The Emperor asked her again if she'd comment something along the lines of the price of a horse. Her hands trembled, explaining that she feels bad for the Empress, worried how can the Empress buy herself dresses and accessories. Diana started crying, telling him that she didn't say about the price of a horse and only told the merchants about the amount the Emperor gave her to spend. The Emperor told her that she have nothing to gain by provoking the Empress and reminded her that she told him that she only needed his love. She answered that she only needed his love, while the Emperor warned her to keep those words in mind and ordered her to vacate the Ivory Palace. He told her that he will prepare a place in his palace for her to reside. The Empress won't be able to touch the Emperor's palace. If she doesn't want to move there, she can also move back to Count Poitier's residency. Diana froze and rushed to him, telling him not to abandon her. She begged not to abandon her, but the Emperor just slapped her hand, reminding her not to make such remarks because she resembles his birth mother more and more. The Emperor was drinking alcohol, asking where on earth did the Empress go. He remembered a servant telling him that since there was no budget allocated to the Empress Palace, the Empress doesn't have any escort knights nor private maids assisting her. He cursed in his mind, asking if this means he can't find the Empress whereabouts because he didn't allocate any budget to the Empress Palace. However, the answer is quite simple. Where would the Empress go? It's obvious the Empress is at Duke Valdir's residence. Adelaide was escorted by Lionel to see the whereabouts of the people in Slum. They found a place that smelled really foul. The river has turned into something inhabitable. The water supply facilities are inadequate. The Empress asked about the burning smell as well, while Lionel explained that it's probably the smell of the incinerated dead. The place is too packed for the living to live comfortably, let alone have a space to bury the dead. She removed her mask, telling him that nobody will recognize her there, and asked if there are more slums of that size spreading in the whole empire. Lionel answered that they estimated 10 slums of similar scale and countless of smaller slums. Adelaide then realized that right now, she is walking into hell. She was enraged, asking how could they all turn a blind eye after seeing things in that state, and what have they been doing all this time to let the empire fall into that state? The Empress was furious, asking if all nobles in that empire are idiots. She asked if they think that just because it's not happening to them, means that it's enough for them to simply station soldiers to block the road. She called him Minister of Defense, asking what have he done for them, but Lionel just stayed speechless. Then the Empress apologized for lashing out at him for no reason. Lionel's heart keeps beating fast, telling her that it's all right. He's been wishing for someone to feel rage about it, claiming that the Empress' words and rage are extremely reasonable and he finds it pleasant. He smiled, telling her that he will aid her whatever she wished to do, while thinking that his heart is beating wildly. A man notified the Emperor that the Empress has returned. He immediately rose up after hearing that she returned. Adelaide was surprised that there were maids who greeted her, thinking that it seems that Diana must have left the Ivory Palace. Lady Kix told her that Diana Poitier has left the Ivory Palace and the problem has been resolved. Suddenly, the Emperor showed his face in a hurry, while the Empress is wondering if he's there for Diana's case. He asked where she had been, while she told him that she already answered that question, but he asked if she was with Lionel Valdir. He repeated his question in aggressive tone if she was with Lionel Valdir. She smiled, asking him if it's the case and what he have to do with that, while he answered that of course he did, because she will be the mother of his children, and wondered if she's actually pregnant from Valdir. He asked her what will happen if she gets pregnant by another person. But she just smiled, thinking that he does what he wants while she don't. When he does that, he is romantic, but when she do it, she's a prostitute. She think that this is a discrimination. She wrapped his neck with her ribbon, asking if he can humiliate her like that. She told him not to be cruel to her if he wanted to tame her, rather, try to tempt her with what she liked. And if he can get her, then he can put chains around her neck without even realizing it. The Emperor smiles and agreed to her and told her to have some rest. Then he will be back to see her later. Adelaide was surprised to his reaction, asking what does he want to do, claiming that he is really an unpredictable man. After a while, a merchant dealer went to her palace. Lady Kix notified her that the Emperor has sent her a group of dealers, but she answered that she didn't need anything and asked Lady Kix why does the Emperor angry at her. She asked what is wrong with him. He just made up a budget problem a week ago, wondering if he's messing with her right now. Lady Kix advised her to just spend the money buying golds. She followed the Countess' advice and bought a chest of gold that exceeds the value of the budget that is supposed to be given to her. The Empress read the Emperor's letter and find his gift a sarcasm. He is like saying that he can return her palace budget, but he will not. Back at the Valdir's estate, Lionel was wondering if the Empress arrived safely. Diana Poitier was supposed to have already left the Ivory Palace. Everything is easy according to plan, but why is his heart beating? He asked himself what is happening to him. He opened that door where he usually saw the Empress drinking alcohol, claiming that he lost his mind. He asked himself why did he apply personally when the Empress published an announcement about her search for an assistant. The first time they met, he was fascinated by her aura and he wished to be her lover, but that would lower the status of the Empress. He have to bury his wish, so none knows about it because he will never betray her. Many servants were sent to the Empress Palace. She was confused that he gave her money yesterday and now servants, yet he still hasn't made her a budget. Lady Kix asked what she wants them to do. The Empress ordered her to ask half of them to leave and half of them to stay. Duke Desvenal visited Adelaide, telling her that it never occurred to them that she is a powerful magician, and asked when did she want to visit the magic tower. The Empress asked if it wouldn't be strange if she came, since magician in Egmont doesn't get their names unless she obtains a certificate proving her abilities and merit. She also asked if he's going to make her the head of the magician, but the Duke asked why is she trying to join forces with the Valdir Duchy, because it would be better to make him her ally on this bumpy path. He explained that she is a part of the Ulrich family, but Adelaide changed the topic by asking the reason for not destroying the towers. Duke Desvenal answered that keeping those towers will make anyone stronger by having that power, and no one will beat her. He added to think it carefully to join his side. The Duke told her that he needs to go and get out the room, but the Empress find it disgusting and she felt that she is out of strength. This caused her to pass out. The emperor was notified of the empress passing out. He was surprised that a woman who cannot be pierced by a spear has passed out, and told the servant that he will see her himself. The emperor was sitting beside the empress when he noticed she was crying, wondering that this cold woman is crying. He told himself to hold her position only, and if she doesn't like it, he will control her life, and if that doesn't work, he will surround her with restrictions. He will make a space for her, spacious enough so that she will not feel trapped. Lionel heard the news that the empress passed out, asking if her condition was bad. Suddenly someone told him that a maid from the empress palace, telling him that the empress requests to see him. He kneeled on the empress side, telling her that he was there. Adelaide reached her hand and told him to send someone to Gotrov to bring a person to her. Lionel is the only one she can trust, and he is the only one who can execute her request. She told him that she feels like she's going to die. The empress asked to bring Kane Knox, Gibelin Lohan, Theodore Siniak, any one of them, but she realized what she's saying and told him not to bring anyone and pretend like he didn't hear anything. She was thinking that they don't have to leave their homeland and their families because of her. The empress lost her consciousness while Lionel catch her and started worrying. The emperor witnessed him holding the empress and asked what is he doing there, while Lady Kix took the empress, telling the minister that she will take care of her. Lionel answered the emperor that the empress requested to see him. The emperor asked Lady Kix if the really request for Lionel's presence. He come closer to the empress, asking in his mind if this men also see the empress when she was at her weakest. At this moment, he have a strong desire to rip his eyeballs out while noticing that he is looking at his empress. He ordered Lionel Valdir to help him take care of the empress, since he is the empress aide. Lionel gave the towel to the emperor while witnessing how he touch and caress her face, but he has no say about this since the emperor is the empress husband. The emperor ordered him that when the empress is asleep, he must wait outside her room. Lionel walked outside the empress room, thinking that when the empress woke up, she wanted to see him, and not the emperor. He wanted to tell him in front of his face that the palace is like hell to the empress. He swore to himself that he would bury his wishes and desires, but now he started to hesitate again, asking what he is supposed to do. A servant reported that they were not able to find out what happened at Valdir's estate, but he explained that the two apparently slept in two different rooms. The emperor claimed that Lionel Valdir is a thorn stick in his throat. Diana visited the emperor, but he just walked past her, asking the reason for coming in his office. She's about to tell him when she noticed that there is a girl with blonde hair and blue eyes giving documents to the emperor, while he praised that she did a good work. Diana remembered Lady Kix telling her how many blonde, blue-eyed girls under the age of 29 were there in the empire. The emperor ordered him to get out. If there's nothing she want to say, she inquired about the maid and asked him to give her that maid since she lacks of servants. The emperor was silent first, but eventually agreed to her. Diana is about to visit the emperor again, but he walked past her again and didn't give her an ounce of attention. She was shocked that she was just like a ghost to the emperor. She asked the servant if the empress asked for the emperor to see her. But the servant explained that it is the other way around. Diana lose her strength, thinking that the emperor went to the empress palace to make sure she woke up. She asked how could he do that to her. The emperor was mesmerized with the empress appearance and asked how is she feeling. Adelaide answered that she felt much better, wondering why is he worried about her. He asked if she ever blacked out like that while she were in Gotrov. She answered no and will continue the treatment. He stared at her, thinking that she is beautiful. Her eyes shine like a ray of sunshine. Her hair is black, and she has a royal blood. She was different from his birth mother. They were married, and she's his empress. He thought he hated her at first sight, but he realized that he was wrong. If he wanted to break her, he would do it, but he would never bow to her like that and wouldn't smile like that either. He told her that he's glad to see her and he have to go now. Adelaide was confused, asking herself what's wrong with him. He wanted her to be an empress in name and appearance only. So why the hell was he suddenly acting like that? Lady Kix told her that the emperor's thinking has changed about her, but she answered that she still have to gain strength. A power that is not based on the privileges granted by the emperor, which may disappear at any moment. She wanted her own power and remembered Lionel's suggestion to become an official magician. With that, she will have the right to vote in the Imperial Council. At the Valders estate, Duke Valdir told Lionel that the conditions in the Imperial Palace have improved and the relationship between the Emperor and the Empress has changed, so he have to prepare to resign. Lionel answered that it is not the appropriate time for him to resign because he still need information about the towers, and the Empress also has information she wants from him. His brother was thinking if that is really the only reason he doesn't want to give up being the Empress assistant. Lennox asked if she's really pregnant, while Diana answered that there is a high possibility that she become pregnant. She recently lost her appetite for food and suffer from severe mood swings. She thought that she carry her savior inside her belly. That is the best that can happen to her at this time. Her brother told her that if her child was a boy, they would live happily for the rest of their lives. The Empress went to visit Duke Desvenal as he is the head of the magician. He asked if she comes for what he told her before. She answered that's what she wants, while the Duke told her to get a certificate first. She have to defeat one of the magician of Egmont and suggested defeating Lennox Poitier. The Empress asked what position will she get if she win, reminding him that she is not only good at judging, but also in management. The Duke insisted on taking care of the certification first, because it is unbelievable for her to obtain the position of the head of magicians. No one would dare give orders to the Empress. She told him that whether they admit her or not, she will not have any difficulty obtaining a certificate, but she wondered if she will be able to attend the official meetings. The Duke realized that the official meetings must be what the Empress was after from the beginning. He told her that he will speak to the Emperor about it, while the Empress opened the topic about countless towers in several provinces and asked what is he going to do about it. The Duke explained that he has a plan to make the magicians more powerful. When that day comes, everyone who cannot use magic will fall into the lower class of society. The Empress felt exhausted after talking to the Duke, and there was no doubt that he would risk the lives of many people, and she have to stop him. Currently, in the Imperial Palace of Gotrov, the long-time absent emperor returned to the palace to hold the funeral of one of his ancestors. Emperor Lucio is Adelaide's younger brother. He asked when did his sister left. The maid answered that it was more than a month ago, and gave him a letter from Adelaide. He told her that it's a stupid thing she have done. He asked their mother the reason for sending his sister to Egmont without consulting him, while she explained that it was better for her to be the Empress of Egmont than she marry an aristocratic man from their country. He asked if she threatened her with something. Adelaide always told him she's sorry. When he was 14, she established a headquarters to confront the towers despite the opposition of Empress Dowager. In the end, Adelaide rejected the name of the crowned princess. However, for someone who lived her entire life as successor, for her, it was no different from death. At that time, she had followers and got a hard offer, but she ultimately rejected the proposal. But one of her fanatical followers launched an attack. The blood of Adelaide's followers has been spilled and has become a flowing river. As long as she's still in Gotrov, this will happen again and again. He read the letter telling to forgive her. Adelaide's going to Egmont is a punishment she imposed on herself. Lucio asked his mother if she threatened Adelaide with those, and called Kay Knox to go to Egmont. If she's not happy, and doesn't want to stay there, make sure to return her to Gotrov because he is ready to wage a war for her. Diana told the Emperor to come closer and put his hand on her belly, revealing that the doctor told her that their baby is there. She explained that she wasn't well lately, Perhaps due to early pregnancy symptoms, she looked at the emperor and was shocked at him looking at her with that expression. He asked if the doctor accurately diagnosed her pregnancy. Diana answered no, but the doctor told her to take care of her health because her symptoms are similar to early pregnancy symptoms. He only answered all right and left Diana alone. She was confused if he's just going to leave like that and hold his arm asking if he's happy. The emperor only answered sure and to take care of herself. She became lonely and remembered the emperor's biological mother, Lady Beatrice. Even though she gave birth to the son of throne, none acknowledged her like the emperor's mother. As soon as she gave birth to her son, the former empress took him from her. She couldn't even watch her son grow up. Therefore, his feeling towards his mother will not be different from his feeling towards her. Although he has become the emperor, he did not change Lady Beatrice's record. Diana suddenly realized that the emperor doesn't want a child from her. The emperor's doctor told him that the pregnancy is not possible. He have been prescribing the amount of contraceptive for him, and he did not make a single mistake during that period. He is confused to what would the empress say if she heard about it, but he thinks if the situation will change. If this happened, she will find no one by her side but him, and this might be a good opportunity to change the empress' mind. Duke Desvenal has requested the Empress to rent the entire Ivory Palace. The Emperor asked his servant if the news of Diana's pregnancy reached the Empress Palace, while the aide answered yes. He immediately planned to visit the Empress asking himself if she's angry and she will meet him with a cold facial expression, but who could help her in such a situation? The only person who could help her now is him. Adelaide was thinking why is the emperor looking at her like that and wondered if he's going crazy. He asked if she already heard the rumors already and clarified it's just a rumor and she didn't need to worry. She asked what did he mean while he come closer to her and kneel in front of her, telling her that his successor will be her son. He asked her to build a good relationship together. The Empress was confused, asking herself how does he change that much, and if something happens between him and Diana. He told her to forget about Lionel Valdir and never go anywhere as dangerous as those slums, because a woman of her standing shouldn't go to such places. The Empress asked if he have seen how people live there because this is not something he can turn a blind eye to, but he insisted that one day they will be devoid of such places. She explained that he should get rid of the towers, not the slums. If he destroyed the towers in the capital, no one will have to live in those bad places. He released her hand and asked if Lionel Valdir asked her to say that to him, while Adelaide told him no. They only went to slums and repeated that he must get rid of the towers. The emperor shouted that all the towers are under his control and asked her if the aristocrat would submit to him if the towers didn't exist, while the empress asked how could he use destruction as a means to protect his power. She asked herself if the emperor realized what he was doing, while he told her to stop and be silent, but she insisted the topic and showed him the map where many areas are within the influence of the towers and demonic beasts, calling it a real hell. She explained that if he made risking people's lives a source of power, this will turn against him, while hoping he understands her. The emperor asked if she thinks she will be safe after the towers disappear and asked why is she throwing herself into ruins. He asked if she would offer help to eliminate towers and agreed that the next time another tower comes down, she can go and try to get rid of it. She answered that she is hoping for that, while the emperor is thinking that he will push her into the harsh places where she loved to be. Such words will never come out again from her lips. Meanwhile, at the Gautrev's palace, the Empress Dowager was notified that Emperor Lucio sent Kane Knox, while the Empress Dowager thought that he must have sent a message telling her to come back to Gautrov. She explained that she's come even though she sent her daughter away because Adelaide is just like her. However, this happened because they do not agree on several important issues. If only she had the same belief as her, she would have become her ally and given her full support. Her heart hurts so much because Adelaide is more suitable for the position of Empress than anyone else. The maid asked what happens if the princess go back, but the Empress Dowager explained that won't happen because the imperial advisor administered a deadly poison to her. She would rather die than come back to Gotrov. Diana visited the emperor, notifying him that she will return to the Ivory Palace while thinking that she will never make her child an orphan. She asked him to consider visiting her occasionally and talk to her baby because the child needs a parent's love. Diana begged him not abandon her and the child. He became angry, telling her to stop because she always telling him not to abandon him. Despite his countless pleas for her not to say those words, Diana defended herself that those was all she could say, but the emperor reminded her that his love alone is enough for her. She asked if he have ever shown her any love lately. She asked where is he the day she was driven out of the Ivory Palace. Diana asked why is he suddenly acting cold towards her, but he just pushed her away and put his clothes away that was wet by her tears. He ordered her to leave. After leaving the room, Diana saw a blonde woman with blue eyes again. She called her brother and told him that she saw a blonde maid that has entered the imperial palace again. Diana told him to take care of it because it seems like they keep coming back somehow and they have to show them a real example. Lennox agreed to her while she added to take an opportunity to kill the Empress. Meanwhile, at Marquis Vieta estate, a tower is descending. He give orders to evacuate all residents of the southern region and let the capital know that the tower has come down. He hoped that the capital send a team to help them. Duke Desvenal visited the Empress. Adelaide was guessing that he has come to prevent her from joining the Council of Ministers. She asked the Duke when is the next Council of Ministers and told him that she's ready. The Duke answered that he will certify her without a test. Their conversation was stopped when a man reported that a tower has landed in the Marquis of Vieta. This caused the Duke to stand up and told the Empress he have to go there immediately. The Empress was thinking that he ignored Count Calvin. Then here he comes running to help the Marquis of Vieta. The man told the Duke that the Emperor conveys an order to the Empress which lead to the Duke's confusion. The Empress then told the Duke that it's an order to deal with the tower while the servant told them that the Emperor ordered to send the Empress to the battlefield herself. Duke Desvenal was shocked, asking how could the Emperor send the Empress to the depths of that hell, while Adelaide told him that she's fine with it. The battalion that had been ordered to gut out the province of Marquis Vieta had assembled. It appeared as if the Egmont's elite group had been fully mobilized. It was in stark contrast to Lord Calvin's request, which was rejected. Duke Desvenal keep on telling the Empress that it won't be easy for her, but she insisted not to worry about her. Lionel showed her the barrack that she will stay in and ordered the knights to guard the Empress tent. Meanwhile, Lennox ordered a servant to deliver a document in the province of Viscount Royne, and it has to be done before midnight tomorrow. He smiled that he was given the opportunity earlier than expected. Before they reach the province of Marquis Vieta, the Empress will be dead, and all the responsibility will fall on Lionel Valdir. On the other hand, at Grand Duchess territory, refugees are constantly flocking. Her territory is now saturated and there is no longer property to shelter them. Elizabeth was thinking that she doesn't want to bear the weight of the throne, but greedy enough to want a power to surpass the emperor. The one who plays the role of the puppet of that bastard is none other than her brother. She notified her servant that she will go to the capital immediately to meet the Empress. Adelaide woke up finding that something seems to have bound her limbs, rendering her powerless. The force pressing down on her entire body, preventing her from even moving a finger, is magic. She looked at the way where a man stepped inside her tent while holding a dagger ready to stab her. He saw that she was awake and needed to act quickly, but the Empress already made a barrier that will shield it from the assassin. She grabbed his neck, telling him that if they wanted her dead, they should have prepared a more skilled magician, and ordered him to speak who ordered him. The man became dead after drinking the poison bag in his mouth. The Empress was thinking that there's an accomplice among the magicians who came with them. She went outside her tent to consult Lionel about it, but hesitated after looking at him sleeping peacefully. She tapped his shoulder and called his name, but to her surprise, Lionel pinned her down while thinking if he's dreaming because she's not supposed to be there. He thought that if it's really a dream, then he will just stay like that and tilt his head towards her, but the Empress called his name to stop him. He woke up to his senses, asking why is the Empress doing in his tent while Adelaide told him to let her go first and apologized for her sudden appearance there. He apologized, asking himself what did he just done, and asked the Empress if something happens to her. Adelaide told him that someone sent an assassin to kill her, but when they returned to her tent, the body of the man disappeared and only blood spot left. It looks like someone tried to get rid of the evidence by removing the body. She explained that the man was sure he could kill her. The only outstanding magician capable of attempting to assassinate the Empress is the Duke d'Esvenel, or Lennox Poitiers. Lionel revealed that the Duke d'Esvenel would not have moved recklessly, and this could be Lennox Poitiers' doing. He apologized for failing to properly guard her, and told her that even if they can't reveal that Lennox is behind that, he will let everyone know that there was an assassination attempt. That way, they won't be able to act recklessly again. The Empress was worried that if he do that, they will hold him responsible and say he didn't protect her properly, and ordered him not to let anyone know. There are few people within the radius of her magic who can harm her, and they won't be able to move recklessly, and told him to go and rest. Lionel insisted to stay and protect her. Lennox find it quiet outside and think that they don't plan on telling anyone. He claimed that it's fortunate that the assassin committed suicide in time. He is the best magician in Egmont, but the Empress stopped his magic. She has both abilities of a striker and a top-level defender, and it is very dangerous for him and planned to get rid of her fast. A woman was wondering why the security around the Empress has been strengthened, and thought that the Duke must have done something. She is Alexa Brunhill and ranks the second among the powerful magicians. She believes that magicians should be distributed throughout the empire to protect the people. She gathered a battalion of magicians who are against the Duke, and was looking for a way to use the information she had gathered, until the Empress showed up. She's sure it's the Empress who will get them out of that hellhole. Duke d'Esvenel was looking at the map where the black point is where the tower is currently located, while the red is the place where the tower will descend. On the day the tower descends in all the marked places, he will be able to use the magic throughout the empire, and he's going to be the best wizard. Duke d'Esvenel was using this to artificially adjust the location of the tower. The location and power of the tower will affect the other existing towers and the one that will be built in the future. He presumed that the next tower will descend in the capital city, and it made him glad. If a tower is built in the capital, it will be possible for him to use magic in the capital. The Marquis of Vieta had witnessed how the monsters ate his knights, making them demotivated and afraid. He told them that magicians are coming from the capital. They just need to hold out a little bit longer. A wyvern suddenly showed, which made all the knights to be more afraid, while the Marquis was hoping for a miracle to happen. A strong magic struck the wyvern, causing it to die. The Marquis was glad that the wizards came in the right time, but he was speechless to saw a woman asking if he's the Marquis Vieta. He answered yes, and asked her the same question. Adelaide introduced herself as Adelaide Egmont. The Marquis then realized she was the Empress. The knights were glad that reinforcements from the capital had arrived, while Alexa asked the Duke if it's alright for them to be a baggage like that. The Duke ordered her to shut up. They will move as always in the shadows. More monsters and wyverns came outside the tower, while the magicians led by Duke d'Esvenel was only watching and not doing anything. The Empress asked the Duke why is he not doing something. Not a single mage is supporting the knights. The Duke told her that they have their own part. The The knights are clearing the path to the tower, and they are the ones who will destroy it. Adelaide argued how can he say that the knights are just clearing the path, while the Duke told her that Egmont has its own way of doing things. The Empress looked at the knights dying, shouted at the Duke telling him that he never once made a sincere effort to destroy the tower and the demons. She told him to watch closely the best way for mages and knights to fight together. She rode off the horse and ordered Lionel that while she's holding off the demons, kill those monsters and clear the path for the mages. Adelaide stabbed her sword on the ground. Using that method will make it difficult to control her body for a while. She can no longer stand by and watch innocent lives die, and in order to build the strength to oppose the Emperor, she must definitely succeed this time. The Duke was surprised that she's sucking up magic power. This made the monster's movements to stop. Lionel told his knights that the Empress is holding back the monsters, and they should take the opportunity to strike down monsters and clear the path. Alexa was shocked that the path to the tower opened in an instant. The Duke and Lennox started to attack the tower and destroyed it in an instant. The Empress was shaking while apologizing that she wanted to save everyone if she had just moved a little sooner, and started coughing blood. Lionel was shocked, worried and become nervous. He asked Duke Despinel what should he do, while Alexa told him that she will take care of it and will escort him to the Marquis Castle. The knights were all worried, asking if the Empress will be alright as she coughed up so much blood. They thanked her that they survived because of her. The Duke was silent, thinking that this wasn't supposed to happen and didn't know this would happen. Lionel asked if the Empress will going to be okay, while Alexa hoped that the internal injuries are not too severe, telling him to go out first so she can start the treatment. The Marquis Vieta told Lionel to rest already, but he insisted that he will stay and guard the Empress. The Marquis thought that Lionel was forced by his family to become the Empress aide, but witnessed that it is different from what he thought. Duke Despinel was cursing, thinking that starting from that incident, the knight will side with the Empress without any hesitation. Even numerous noble families who were once afraid and silent will now align themselves with the Empress and Lionel. He called for Lennox and ordered him to kill the Empress. He ordered him to send someone from the slums. The Empress may be the most skilled mage in the land, but she's down with internal injuries, and she can't use magic since the tower is gone. A skilled assassin will not fail. Lennox agreed, however. He's worried that the Empress and Lionel will be preparing for another attempt. The Duke told Lennox that he will make it look like that the Empress died from after effects of her internal injuries. A maid noticed that there is a smell of blood and find a woman telling her that she will look just like the head maid if she scream. The assassin asked the location of the Empress, while she accompanied her to the Empress bedroom. Lionel was thinking where is the head maid and saw a woman that he never seen before. He asked the maid about her expression that doesn't look good. The maid told him it's nothing and proceeded to enter the room. Lionel didn't leave them, asking if everything is okay. While the maid told him not to worry, he noticed that her hands were shaking. The other maid told him to wait outside while she changed the Empress bedding. Lionel went outside while finding her suspicious. The maid prepared a drug that will make the Empress have a high fever and die slowly. No one will suspect that the Empress was assassinated. Lionel asked Henry if he located the head maid. Then another knight reported that they found the head maid's body. He immediately opened the Empress room and found the maid starting to feed the Empress poison. The knights immediately run towards her, while the maid confessed that she killed the head maid. The assassin jumped off the window, but was immediately cornered by the knights. Lionel subdued her, asking who is her backer and who hired her. The assassin knew that she will suffer a fate worse than death when she's captured, and started swallowing a poison. The Marquis and Marchioness run towards Lionel, asking if someone tried to assassinate the Empress, while Duke Despinel calm, shouting, asking who dare attempt to assassinate the Empress. He asked that the assassin's outfit is the Marquis maid's uniform, asking that the maid of Marquis Vieta tried to assassinate the Empress. Lionel told him that she is not of them, while the Marchioness swore that they didn't do it. The Duke told Lionel that he can't let this matter go easily, while thinking he must not let Valdir dig too deeply into the case. The Marquis explained that they did even know that the Empress was coming and asked what possible benefit could they gain by assassinating the Empress. Duke Desvenal told him to be quiet while telling Lionel to hand over the investigation to him immediately. The Minister of Defense told him to stop telling the Duke that it's his duty to interrogate the people and uncover the mastermind. Duke Desvenal run asking Lennox for failing to properly handle just one unconscious woman. Lennox explained that Lionel Valdir had made the security extremely tight. The Duke asked if Diana asked him to kill the Empress, while Lennox told him that Diana is pregnant. There's no reason for her to risk her life to do such a thing. The Duke warned him the moment he prioritized Diana's orders, that means he betrayed him. Lennox bowed, telling him that he will never betray him. Lionel was looking at the Empress thinking if he should quit being her aide. He took a handkerchief to wipe her sweat and remembered the Emperor wipe her with his handkerchief. Just because he's the Emperor doesn't mean he is worthy of being by her side. The Empress woke up and asked what happened when she was resting. Lionel told her that there was an assassination attempt, but this time it's suspected that the Duke Desvenal is behind it. She asked if the assassin was captured. He answered that they couldn't prevent them from taking their own life. If the Duke Desvenal is truly behind it, it will be difficult to find solid evidence, but she thanked him for preventing the assassination as a great help to her. Diana visited the Emperor telling him that she couldn't sleep and suggested sleeping by his side. The Emperor didn't answer and told Diana to leave him alone. She was contemplating how did the Empress win the Emperor's love, and asked if it isn't this while looking at the Emperor birth mother picture. She saw a woman with blonde hair and blue eyes and remembered what Lady Kix told her about how many young women with blue eyes and golden hair under the age of 29 must there be. She then asked if he will now leave her and find another woman, but she won't let that happen and she won't die at 29. Diana ordered Lorraine to bring that woman to the Ivory Palace without anyone knowing. The woman was tied on a chair while asking what did she do wrong and will fix it if they tell her. Diana showed herself and started slapping her and ordered her to call her my lady. Lady Kix notified the Emperor to save a pitiful maid and explained that she was taken to the Ivory Palace and imprisoned her. He asked if she can take responsibility if she find nothing after visiting the Ivory Palace. Lady Kix answered yes, while the Emperor told her to lead the way. Diana cut the maid's hair and warned her that right now, it's just her hair, but next time she will cut her neck. Her maid notified her that the Emperor is on the way to her room. She ordered Lorraine to quickly turn off the lamps and pretended to be sleeping. The Emperor asked if Diana is asleep and ordered to bring a lamp and find out pieces of olden hair on the ground. She rose up asking the reason for coming at that hour. She was surprised to see Lady Kix and cursed her in her thought. The Emperor asked if she knows where's the palace maid that has disappeared. She answered that she didn't know about that because she's been sleeping all along. He asked why is she not wearing her nightgown and slippers, and asked the long blonde hair he found on the ground. Diana asked what he's thinking and why is he doing that to her and pleaded to believe her. He told her that he remembered telling her that one day he could take back all the power he gave her, and he also knows that she's been doing those behind his back using that power, but he won't let that happen again. The Grand Duchess visited the Valdir estate and welcomed by the Duke of Valdir. He looked at her golden curly hair, confident face and arrogant relaxed smile. Whether it's the day she filed for divorce or the day she left the house because of it, that's the kind of woman she is. Elizabeth told him that she can't keep seeing this situation like this any longer. Even though she tried her best, but because the root of the problem hasn't been solved, the bad cycle continues. She revealed that she's truly ashamed, so she left even and ran away. She was thinking that even seeing a strand of Karl and Duke Desvenal's hair is something incurable. She explained that now, there's no more place to run while Duke Valdir asked if she won't run away anymore. Elizabeth explained that when she ran away, there's no place to run away to that country. Duke Valdir thought that whether marrying him or divorcing him, both might be forms of escape, because she doesn't want to confront or fight Carl, as if she's trying to maintain an invisible line in her own wa, and he always hopes she will cross that line. The Duke asked if that means she have to face the Emperor directly. She answered that it's the better way. Duke Desvenal explained that the magician destroyed the tower while the Emperor was concerned about the assassination attempt to the Empress. He asked if he have any idea who's responsible for it. The Duke told him that he almost got into trouble and explained that Lionel Valdir didn't leave the Empress' bedroom even for a moment. The Empress shocked to hear that Lionel stayed at the Empress' bedroom all night. Adelaide asked the reason for coming at her room late at night, while the Emperor kneeled and asked if she entrust her heart to Lionel Valdir. The Empress asked why he's asking and if he's curious, but the Emperor told her that he will send Diana out of the palace. Adelaide stated that she have no interest in his affairs, whether he send her out or take her with him. She told him that if he wanted to win her heart, he shouldn't come like that without notice or manners. He should find out what kind of person she is and what she likes. The Emperor asked what's the thing she likes, while she answered that like a feather attached to a pen, she can't live fluttering, and asked him to go back since she was about to rest. Duke Valdir asked Lionel if being an Empress ain't a difficult task. He answered that it's okay and explained that the Empress is someone who clearly distinguishes between official and personal matter. His brother revealed that the Grand Duchess came to their estate explaining that Elizabeth agreed to be their focal point, and soon the Empress will join. The two will be their main pillars. Duke Valdir told Lionel that the Empress and them had achieved their goals, and asked him to resign from his position as her aide. Lionel was speechless, thinking that it was the only thread that could tie him to the Empress, while his brother told him that he harbored feelings that should not be embraced. Duke Valdir explained that he will get hurt in the long run, but Lionel cleared that he misunderstood his relationship with the Empress. Duke Valdir didn't believe him, telling him that a heart that harbors feelings will somehow leak out and show itself. He witnessed how he looked at her as if the Empress is the only light in the world. Lionel was speechless and remained silent. He get out the room while feeling lost and frustrated. He recalled her, defenselessly gazing up at him, trapped in his arms. With his emotions so vividly clear, how could he have thought that just ignoring it would be enough? He concluded that it is not admiration, respect, nor awe, but adoration, something he dared to harbor feelings for her. Grand Duchess Elizabeth visited the Empress to ask her to destroy the tower together with her. She stated that she is a legitimate daughter of the former emperor who married the Duke of Valdir, although they have been divorced for a long time. Her goal is to correct politics but cutting the power of Duke Desvenal, who was controlling the emperor. Adelaide asked that she suddenly changed her mind and came to her directly, while Elizabeth told her that she thought she could run away, but it seems not, and she realized there is no place to retreat. The Empress agreed to her and gladly told her to destroy the tower together. The Emperor interrogated Count Poitiers if he tried to assassinate the Queen, but he just remained silent, remembering Duke Desvenal's statement that he will take care of it by himself. The Emperor told him that apparently, he is the provocator of the assassination attempt. Lennox kneeled, telling the Emperor to believe him that he's not the one. The Emperor then asked if it's not him, then it's definitely Duke Desvenal's doing. To think that there are only two people who want the Empress dead, Duke Desvenal or Diana Poitiers. He grabbed Lennox's face, warning him that the Empress is him, so don't even try to touch what's his possession. Lennox nervously answered yes to the Emperor. The council meeting started when Duke Desvenal reported that his magicians have successfully destroyed the tower, but the Grand Duchess reminded him to also discuss any achievements that the Empress has made. The Duke included the Empress, telling them that she and the knights has helped, but they can't equate it with the magicians who successfully destroyed level 2 tower with one attack. The Minister of Defense argued that the minimal number of injured knights is due to the Empress power, and resulted for the magicians to quickly destroy the tower. He added that the Empress understands more magic about the tower and what is unknown to the Egmont magicians. Lennox argued, asking if he is underestimating the Egmont magicians, but the Emperor ordered him to stop and asked Lionel what is his main point. Lionel stand up to call upon the Empress to join the important council meeting. The Emperor become angry, asking himself how dare he, but there were more nobles who stand up and agreed to the Minister of Defense, making the Emperor wonder how many nobles were supporting Valdir and the Empress. Duke Valdir went to the Empress to speak with her privately. He asked if the position of the Empress aide is forever. There will come a time when she no longer needs an assistant. Even though Lionel is no longer in the position of an assistant, the Valdir family will continue to be on her side. The Duke bowed, asking as Lionel's older brother to protect his brother's dignity. The Empress remembered the time where Lionel expressed himself like that, asking herself what would happen if she didn't alert him by calling his name. She asked why every time she glanced, their eyes always meet, and why every time she remember him, her heart races. Lionel visited the Empress asking if there's a problem, while she answered that there's none and explained that the Grand Duchess and the Duke Valdir came to her. They mentioned that she could attend the next important meeting. He told her that he will prepare the necessary data. Adelaide asked why has he been smiling all those time, while he answered that she mentioned that she didn't like it when he has a serious face. She asked herself why is he always like that. What Duke Valdir said is true. Keeping Lionel by her side could be her selfishness. The Empress told him that she already have the support as promised by Duke Valdir and the Grand Duchess, so she no longer have an excuse to continue letting him as her aide. She explained that she's thinking of not continuing that anymore, and it's the right time he stopped being her assistant. Lionel was shocked to hear those words, asking why suddenly. But the Empress explained that if he released the position as an assistant after their goals are achieved, then the weight of his lost honor will be reduced even more. He gritted his teeth, telling himself that as long as he can stay by her side, he can give up that honor any time. He asked that she haven't achieved her goals with all the nobles. He added about the slum settlement, and now that it's time to handle it seriously, he will stand by her side a little longer. When all the noble goals have been achieved, then he will step down from his position as her aide. Adelaide was speechless and just looked at him, while Lionel took her reaction that she given him permission to stay. Lionel can't believe he was shaken just because of the words of the Empress. He can't let her know about his feeling. He has to act as if it's not affection, but his strength. He now concluded that it seems the time has come, and went to his brother's office for a private meeting. He told Duke Valdir that he wanted to receive the Marquis title that has been pending for so long. His brother asked the reason for wanting to accept the title that he's been rejecting. Lionel explained that with that, he won't step back from his position as the Empress aide. This made Duke Valdir angry, telling him to wake up. He asked if he thinks that position is forever. He answered that he already knew, while the Duke asked him why suddenly. He explained to him that they will continue to support the Empress, and asked if the Empress was holding him back. Lionel answered that the Empress never hold him back, and told him not to worry because he's walking his own path. He won't do things that lead to destruction, or play the fire that could burn him. According to the law, a Duke of Egmont can pass on titles and territories to their blood relatives without the Emperor's permission. Duke Valdir formally bestowed the title of Marquis and the Herbert territory upon Lionel. At the council meeting, the Empress inquired about the situation in Count Calvin. Lionel reported that the tower in Count Calvin was evaluated as medium to large scale with its level at 3, and there's also the appearance of gargoyles. Lennox told him that it's hard to be sure if he's not an experienced magician, but Elizabeth told him to stop being hard-headed. The Empress stand up telling them that there were slums scattered throughout the capital, and the only way to eliminate slums is to destroy all the towers that exist. The Emperor asked himself if it's necessary for her to act like that. Well, Lionel agreed to what the Empress stated. The Emperor told them to stop as the towers will be destroyed in turn, but Duke Valdir argued that it's in fact not true. If it's supposed to be in turn, then why did they leave the tower in Count Calvin while the tower in Marquis Vieta was destroyed? Duke Desvenal explained that the tower in Vieta is larger, but Duke Valdir asked if there's a secret standard for tower destruction they don't know about. Duke Desvenal told him not to speak nonsense in front of the Emperor, while Elizabeth explained to the Emperor that the only way is to destroy the tower quickly and clearly. She asked if there won't be any problem if they still handle the towers like that. The Emperor asked her if she's questioning his method, while she answered yes. Duke Desvenal ordered Elizabeth to shut up, but she told him to stop hiding behind the Emperor and prove his worth. The Emperor became angry, telling them as disrespectful for displaying his mistake in front of everyone at an important meeting. But the Empress shouted, telling him that she's not disrespecting her, asking him that it's his duty to properly govern the country. Adelaide explained to them that she can destroy all the towers within a period of 2 years. The nobles were asking if it's possible to destroy those in just 2 years, while the Emperor asked if she can back up her words. She explained that she used to be the founder and general manager of the Gotrov Tower Destruction Headquarters, and told the Emperor to hand the role to her. The Marquis Herbert fully agreed with her. The Grand Duchess, as well as the Duke Valdir, also give their support to the Empress. The conversation was interfered when a servant handed a document to the Emperor, stating that the Count Calvin has expressed his intention to hand over his territory to the Emperor completely. The Empress was surprised when he had hoped Count Calvin would hold on a little longer. The Emperor asked for the Duke's opinion if they actively destroyed the towers, but the Duke disagreed strongly, explaining the reason why he hesitated to let the Empress destroy towers. They need the towers to make nobles submit to him. The Duke told him that he's been doing well all along. The problem lies with the Empress. He suggested to kill the Empress. The Emperor disagreed to his plan, while the Duke explained that everyone gathered to the Empress because of her magic ability and the power of Elizabeth behind her. If they can destroy the Empress, they will surely fall like the sandcastle, but the Emperor told him to let him find a solution. Duke Desvenal told him that there's no other way to stop the Empress except through his way, but the Emperor reminded him that if he touched that woman, whoever he is, he will not remain silent. The Duke answered that he understands, but he shouldn't take too long. The Empress was notified that Baroness Alexa requested a private audience with her. She asked the reason for a second-rank magician to privately meet with her. Alexa asked the Empress if she's really going to destroy all the towers in Egmont, even if he have to face the Duke Desvenal. The Empress asked what she's trying to say, while Alexa told her that she has something to show her first. The Empress asked if those are the location where the upper-level towers are intentionally built. Alexa agreed, explaining when upper-level towers are built, the lower-level towers around them naturally disappear. The Empress asked what the main motive behind those action. Alexa explained that Duke Desvenal wants Class 1 towers built in the locations she marked. If that happens, the entire empire will be within the magic power radius. Adelaide was shocked, asking if he's going to unleash monsters into the country just to be able to use magic freely. If the Duke's wish is fulfilled, he will control the magicians and make them dominate over the Emperor. She asked if she can trust Alexa since she's a notable member of magicians' forces. Alexa explained that she can't let Duke Desvenal act as he pleases and act arbitrarily again, and told the Empress that they must stop what the Duke is trying to do. The Empress asked if there are other magicians who want to stop the plan. Alexa revealed that there are, and she's been gathering data for a long time. The Empress called her ally and explained that the Egmont Empire must be reformed, and to do so, Duke Desvenal must first resign from politics. She explained what Alexa told him about the plan of Duke Desvenal, while Lionel concluded that the Duke wanted to gain the highest position in the Empire. Elizabeth was furious, calling Duke Desvenal as a crazy person, while Duke Valdir asked if the Emperor knew about that. The Empress told them that the Emperor once told her that the tower is the power base to defend his rule. Marquis Herbert asked if there's any data that can prove that, while Adelaide revealed that Baroness Alexa has agreed to gather it for her. They plan to reveal it after the national celebration banquet ends. Diana visited the Empress while the Empress was worried that her body looks thinner. Diana was thinking if the Empress is jealous because she has something that she doesn't. She apologized that she can't help with the preparations because she's pregnant. Adelaide told her that it's fine and asked for the reason of her visit. Diana answered that she's pregnant, which makes her unable to stand for long, therefore, she wants her to prepare a seat for her. She was thinking that the Empress will surely become furious to hear her request, but she was surprised to see that the Empress' reaction is flat. The Empress showed her the seating chart and have reserved a seat for her already. Diana feels uncomfortable and defeated. She is about to get out the room when Adelaide stated that her body is thin and inquired if her nausea is getting worse. She also told her to talk to Lady Kix if there's any kind of food that makes her nauseous. Diana become teary, asking herself how can she be worried about her, when not even the Emperor does it. She thinks that the Empress is not in her right mind, and there's something strange with her. Elizabeth was thinking of persuading the Emperor as his elder sister. The Emperor asked the reason for visiting him and asking for an audience. She straightforwardly told him that she come as elder sibling to tell him something. Even without the towers, he will still be recognized as the Emperor. His power will remain even without the presence of towers. The Emperor told her that she's lying, and he doesn't want to hear it even if she acts like his elder. The previous Empress said that no one would acknowledge him, but Elizabeth argued that the former Empress is wrong. The Emperor asked why it's only now, after just watching everything for so long, and told her that he have done his best, just like with the towers. This made Elizabeth realize that she really left him for so long, and didn't know what to say. The Emperor was thinking that he can't let all the towers to be destroyed, Mad have to find a way to stop it without hurting the Empress. At the day of Egmont national celebration, the Emperor accompanied Diana Poitiers, while the Empress was escorted by Marquis Lionel Herbert. A servant notified Adelaide that she was ordered to meet the Emperor in a quieter place, while Lionel was worried about her. The woman heading towards the Emperor, he can't stop her at all, nor he can hold her back. He asked him how long will he just keep seeing her back as she walks away. The Empress asked the reason for calling her on the way to the terrace. The Emperor asked if she thinks she will be the one in power if she succeeded in defeating Duke Desvenal. He added if she thinks all the nobles will bow their heads and offer their loyalty to her. The Emperor told her that she's just a puppet moving in Egmont, no matter how much influence she have in Gottrov. She is the Empress of the Egmont for only one reason, and that is her relationship with him, and what she's doing now is cutting that link with her own hands. Adelaide asked if he thinks she wanted to destroy the tower for gaining power, but the Emperor warned her to officially withdraw her statement that she can destroy the towers within 2 years. She answered that she can't do that, but the Emperor told her that she's arrogant who always tried to impose her own opinion. Adelaide argued with him, telling him that if he actively destroyed the towers, the nobles will respect him more than they now. He stopped her, telling that she always neglect her most important duties as Empress, and warned her that she's the one who refused and neglect her duties. He asked himself if Adelaide can still refuse him if she's no longer an Empress. The Emperor called the High Priest and revealed to him that he will dismiss the Empress from her throne. The High Priest was shocked, thinking if he really have the intention to do that, while Duke Desvenal told the emperor that if there's no logical reason for the dismissal, the reaction of the nobles will be very bad. The emperor explained that there is a reason, and that is she refused to spend the night with him. The duke was surprised to hear the revelation and told the emperor that is a big problem that can be ignored. He asked to have a session that must be convened and it must be implemented before nightfall. The emperor thinks that Adelaide is the one who caused that, and ordered to convene the session immediately, but he will hold a closed session to preserve the honor of the Empress. The Duke was glad that the Empress will be overthrown. The Emperor asked if the High Priest understand what he told him, while the High Priest asked if he's talking about reinstating the Empress. He explained that refusing to spend the first night can be sufficient reason for dismissal, but that doesn't make her guilty. The Emperor concluded that if the Empress promises to fulfill all her duties again, she can regain her position as Empress. The nobles were surprised to see judges of the imperial court, while they approached the Empress telling her that the Emperor has requested an immediate trial for the Empress. Adelaide was shocked to hear those words, while the nobles was confused that the Emperor is planning to sue the Empress. Lionel asked what trial they're talking about. Without notification, the judges explained that the Emperor stated that the judicial proceedings will be unofficial. This is an internal process and an urgent trial within the royal family of Ulrich, therefore, separate notification is not required. He added that the Grand Duchess was summoned as a witness, while the Empress asked if she's being accused of something, and told them to take her and lead the way to the session. Lionel grabbed her arm telling her that he will go with her, but the Empress told him that she will be back soon. Lionel thought that she is that kind of person. The burden she carries is very heavy, but she will never share it with anyone else, but he want at least to be by her side. He told his brother to gather the aristocrats asking if they should just stay put. All citizens of Egmont are judged by laws of the country, but the Ulrich imperial family was an exception. The trial takes place in a hall located within the palace. The judges asked the Empress to take her seat, but she told them that she's not a criminal, so she will not sit in that place. Duke Desvenal told her that he heard some unfavorable things about her. It was him who insisted on holding an urgent trial, and she shouldn't have acted like that. The Grand Duchess told him to behave himself as she is the Empress, while the Emperor silenced them so that can start the trial. The judge stated that the trial is requested by the Emperor Karl Ulrich Egmont, and the Empress Adelaide Ulrich Egmont is accused of failing to fulfill marital obligations. The Archbishop who was at their wedding is present. Elizabeth asked how can they speak of failure to fulfill the Empress obligations. She destroyed a tower for her people. She more than anyone fulfills her duty as Empress. The Duke told her that destroying tower is a matter for magicians, and concern for the poor can be handled by the Emperor. The judge explained that the reason for the Empress trial is for refusing the wedding night. This made Adelaide cursed him in her mind, while the Emperor was thinking that he sent her to hell, and he is the only one who can pull her out of there. They summoned Countess Hannah Kix as the Empress assistant. The judge asked her if the Empress ever refused the Emperor's request to stay for the night. Hannah Kix answered that the Emperor is the one who refused to stay for the night on the wedding day. The judges shouted telling her to just answer the question if the Empress rejected the Emperor's request for a wedding night. Adelaide closed her eyes thinking that it's very, very hard. The tower, people dying of demonic beasts, the poor in pitiful conditions, her heart, which wanted to save them. She's so tired and wanted to stop right now. The Empress stopped Lady Kix, while the Countess started crying and worried about her. While the Emperor was thinking that it's done, her strength has waned. Finally, her wings are broken. He was expecting Adelaide to cast away her dignity and come to him. The Empress admit everything. There's no way she could have spent the first bridal night with the Emperor. This made the Emperor shocked as he is not expecting it, while the judge asked if she admit the basis for the accusation. She answered that she admit everything. The Duke was glad and told her that she must be dethroned. Elizabeth told the Archbishop that it is impossible, but the High Priest explained that since the Empress herself admitted, she can be dethroned. The Empress smirked, asking herself that she will be dethroned from the throne, while the Emperor told her to admit her guilt and promised to amend her ways, then he can give her a chance, while thinking that something went wrong, that situation needs to be sorted out. But the Empress answered that she will not. The Emperor was dumbfounded and asked what. She related that she's saying she won't do it and ordered the judge to pronounce her sentence. This made the Emperor stop Adelaide not to say it, while the Duke d'Espinal was very happy. The judge pronounced that the Empress Adelaide Ulrich Egmont is declared deposed from the position as Empress. The Duke sealed a letter to send to Gottrov Empire declaring that the Empress was overthrown, but the Emperor ordered someone to board the ship with the envoys and kill them before they reach Gottrov. He wanted the news of the Empress overthrown not to reach Gottrov. He remembered Adelaide telling him that she will not do it. He asked why everything turned out that way. It was obviously done to push her into the abyss, but why he is the one fighting in that abyss, not her. Although the decision of the court the Empress was deposed, Adelaide was not a criminal. As a token of respect to the princess of another country, it was decided to allow her to remain in the imperial palace until her people from Gottrov arrived. Lady Kix told her she must be tired and should rest, while she told her not to cry. The Grand Duchess visited her and asked why didn't she denied it, because if she had, they have been able to find another way. But Adelaide answered that she didn't want to do it anymore and apologized to her. She gave the documents which consist of the evidence of the Duke d'Espinal's plan and asked not to reveal the informant's name. Elizabeth asked the reason while she answered that the burden is too heavy for her to carry and wanted it to let go. She asked the reason for accepting an international marriage that seemed like exile. Adelaide answered that it was her loyalty to Gottrov and also her apology. This made Elizabeth cry, asking if she ever lived for herself at any moment of her life. The Emperor went to visit Adelaide, but Lady Kix shielded her, telling him that she's still the princess of Gottrov. He ordered Hannah Kix to get out of the way and ordered a maid to get Lady Kix out of the room. The Emperor called Adelaide's name, telling her to look at him, but she told him not to speak her name. He kneeled, asking if she doesn't understand why he had to do that. He started crying, telling her that he loved her, and explained that it was out of love that he did that, so she could be with him. Adelaide asked if he's calling that love. She shouted not to even talk to her about love, but he told her that he regretted hurting and offending her. He told her that he was honest with her and tried to reach out to her, but she rejected all his advances, and blamed her that it was her that made him resort to that. Adelaide reminded him that he's the one who told her to stay quiet and not interfere. She admitted that she failed her duties as Empress and willingly relinquished her title. So they have no reason to talk anymore and pleaded him to leave her alone. The Emperor asked if she thinks she can handle the humiliation of losing her title, because she's not that kind of person. He told her that he will give her plenty of time, so she need to think carefully. If she promised to fulfill her duties as Empress, he will pretend like the overthrown never happened. Adelaide felt that she have no strength, remembering Elizabeth to live for herself. She looked at her hand and remembered that destroying the tower and saving innocent civilians is what her life was. Even if she could go back in time, she would live it the same way. She remembered the Emperor telling that he loves her. She asked how can his selfishness be called love. Then Lionel's face flashed in her mind, asking why does his voice and dark blue eyes come to her mind at a moment like that. She was convinced that she deserved to be overthrown, and took a box with 2 bottles of poison inside, thinking that she now have no place there or in Gottrov, only death remains. Now, she have nothing to lose. The Grand Duchess went to the Valdir estate while Lionel asked what's the reason for the Empress overthrown. She answered that it was hard to deny the reason and explained that the reason for overthrown is the absence of the wedding night. Duke Valdir asked about the Empress while Elizabeth explained that she wanted to stop. She reached the documents enough to accuse Duke Despinal and the Emperor, while Duke Valdir told her that the magicians are still in the Duke's hands. Lionel suggested to spread the information before raising the issue in the Council of Ministers. Elizabeth agreed that it would be good to inform the entire empire while thinking that she will not run away and it's her time to fulfill her duty as a princess. Lionel asked if she's sincere in her words. He asked what will she do if Duke Despinal denies it. She understands that he is asking if she's ready to overthrow the emperor, and answered that a man who only pushes the empire to hell should not sit on the throne. Marquis Herbert hurriedly went to the Empress Palace even though the emperor prohibited anyone to enter the Empress Palace. Adelaide was surprised to see him and asked for forgiveness that if she had known that would happen, she would have long since dismissed him from his position as her assistant. Lionel didn't answer, but was only looking at her thinking if she's alright and if it's very difficult for her. Adelaide, on the other hand, was thinking the reason she couldn't drink the poison were not about her homeland, but about him, the man who fearlessly reached out to her when she was falling. She only thought about that man. Lionel noticed a bottle of medicine on the table. He was surprised and took it immediately while Adelaide stopped him and ordered him to give it to her. He asked what is that, while she answered that it was a remedy for exhaustion. Lionel then realized and understood what is the bottle for and asked if he can drink it. He is about to drink the medicine when Adelaide shouted and slapped the medicine out of his hand. She was scared he would drink it and came back to her senses, but Lionel grabbed her shoulder and hugged her tightly to his arms. Warmth envelopes her entire body, a powerful force which seemed about to break her, and realized that she's just cold. Lionel asked if she wanted to commit suicide, but she answered it was impossible. Every time exhaustion and difficult moment comes, she thinks that if she had left her brother die that day, she wouldn't have had to do that. He asked why couldn't she drink it and asked if among all people that she was worried about, is he one of them? If that is the life she were planning to discard anyway, couldn't she have given it to him?